This is Rosen Institute's Your Law Firm, where Lee Rosen and Ned Days cover management, marketing, finance, and new technologies for building the practice you deserve. Rosen Institute members received this episode early, as well as exclusive segments on checking in on your own mental health, an answer to a member question about how to handle clients using inappropriate or hateful language, as well as sessions from our systems program all about building processes in your firm. Get access to everything you're missing at roseninstitute.com/join. Here's Lee Rosen.
It's good to be with you today from the airport in Vienna, Austria. Just a quick layover this time. And the funny thing about this airport is that this is the same airport where our luggage went missing back in 2022. There were staff shortages and tight connections, and we made the flight, but our bags stayed behind in Vienna. They did not fly with us. 23 days later, we were finally reunited with our bags. Well, today it's a very different story. My bag is right here beside me, loyal as ever, waiting to be wheeled on to the next flight. We've gone full team carry-on now, and this time, this bag is definitely coming with us.
It's time for your tech tip. I know we talk about AI a lot, and while the tools are progressing at a rapid pace, a common question I hear is, when are these things actually going to be able to do work for me? Now, when it comes to data extraction, organization, categorization, and research, there are platforms that make that happen. But a lot of us are waiting for the AI agent future, where we give a command and these tools take action for us on our behalf. One of the abilities that seems so obvious that we should have it by now is AI file organization on our devices. There have been experiments on this front for a couple of years now, almost since this technology came around, and I dove in with high hopes of reporting back to you with a tool that would instantly tame the chaos of your file system. But I am sorry to report we still aren't there. I want to talk about an interesting option that gives us a peek at the kind of functionality we will hopefully have soon, why it doesn't work as advertised, and what kind of features are available today that actually perform as promised. I looked at several tools claiming to allow you to simply type a prompt to edit, organize, modify, and enhance a large batch of files on your computer. And the bottom line is that any of them claiming to offer this functionality suck, at least the ones I tried, and at least for now. So I will save you the trouble of downloading them and spending an hour frustratedly trying to batch edit files that you could have done manually in that time. Frankenfile, which is available at frankenfile.com, looks like it should be awesome. The idea is that you select a maximum of 50 files to work on, describe in plain text what you want to do to them, and let it run. That might be converting the file format, batch renaming by adding a prefix or a suffix, resizing images or overlaying a watermark on all of the images or videos, splitting PDFs, combining PDFs, sorting and organizing files into new folders based on their contents, whatever you want. And when it works, it's incredible, but it rarely worked, and most of that functionality never worked at all. And I think a lot of the problem lies in the way these tools have to approach what it is they are doing, again, at least for right now. Behind the scenes, these tools are usually setting up a sandboxed environment with copies of your files, grabbing a list of the file names, and then feeding your prompt along with some extra instructions to the LLM, letting it know that it has access to developer packages and asking it what kind of command line functions it should run in the background to do what you want. If that sounds complicated, that's because it is, and I think that's why these tools fail to work like they should. So basically, you ask it to convert 3 files from PDF to JPEG and rename them based on the case number inside, and the tool then gets instructions from the LLM to download some developer packages for reading PDF files, different packages to convert PDF files, and attempts to walk through the steps to make that happen according to your prompt instructions. The result is that each time you ask it to do something, it spends time downloading extra packages, runs into issues, and usually stalls. This is really a limitation of the control we can feasibly give LLM tools over our devices, at least for the time being. As computer control continues to become more fleshed out in tools like Claude and ChatGPT, we will probably see more streamlined file system access so that the tools can either do all of the clicking for us or access system APIs to handle things in the background without needing to download a lot of extra software. And being able to just ask to have files split into folders based on account number or client, or have a bunch of disparate documents organized or Bates numbered or watermarked or whatever else you want will be amazing. But we aren't there yet. So what does work right now? There are some tools that operate in a much more limited capacity that are functional today and are quick, reliable, and very convenient. KeepItShot.com is one that I use regularly. It renames files based on the file contents. You can set it to watch a specific folder, and any new files will be renamed. I have this set to my screenshots folder so that any new screenshots automatically get renamed with something useful based on their contents. It's a Mac app, and you can select files from the Finder and use the menu bar icon to perform a smart rename on them. Or you can configure a hotkey to perform the same action with a key combination. You can even provide a custom prompt for how your file names should be structured and any other instructions you want obeyed when files are being scanned and renamed, if you have a particular format that you like to use. KeepItShot uses OpenAI for its processing, and you can provide your own API key if you have a paid ChatGPT account, so all of the processing is happening under an account you control. Sparkle, available at makeitsparkle.co, is another Mac app that provides a different kind of functionality. It just looks at the file names. It doesn't read the file contents, and it organizes the files into folders based on how they are named. Sparkle lets you pick folders that you want to monitor, and it will then organize the existing files and any new files on a schedule. It breaks things into three main directories: Recents, which is new files that haven't yet been sorted; Manual Library, where you can move files that you would like to organize manually; and AI Library, where it moves files and then categorizes them into folders as it sees fit based on the file name and file type. You don't have a huge amount of control here, but it's a great way to get a messy downloads folder or Dropbox folder tidy. So with any luck, we will soon be in a spot where we really can ask for anything and have our cluttered desktops organized in a flash, but at least for right now, we are still waiting. I'm Ned Days, and that's your tech tip.
And now for your moment of concise advice. There's only room for one version of you in their heads. Now, that's not because they're dumb. It's not because you're boring. It's simply because that's how human minds work. Most people can only remember you for one thing. So that means that you better be really, really sure that the thing that you are shouting about, that is the thing that you want them to remember you for. You need to be sure that is the thing for which you want to be known. For me, in my early law firm days, I leaned heavily into marketing my law practice, and I got known for marketing. I gave other lawyers advice on how to run their practices. I really enjoyed it. I loved doing it. Marketing just became my thing. I was good at it, and before long, other lawyers, they were calling me a marketing genius. They told their friends, their accountant friends, their therapist friends. The word spread, and I even started getting invited to speak at conferences, not about family law, which is what I was practicing, but about marketing and about running a law firm. And soon I had this shiny, impressive reputation, not as a family law attorney, but as a practice management guy. Now, that was great, except my business was as a family law attorney. I needed people to call me about getting divorces, about child custody cases and alimony and child support and all of that, but nobody was calling to refer those cases to me. Nobody was saying, oh, you need a tough negotiator, you should call Lee Rosen. No, they were saying things like, you should talk to Lee. He really knows a lot about marketing. Well, I had accidentally built a personal brand, a great personal brand, but it was not feeding my law firm. It would have fed a law firm marketing business, but I didn't have one of those. So that was a problem for me. Now, if that happens to you and your goal is to sell courses or books or marketing consulting, then sure, tell the world how brilliant you are at marketing. Start a podcast, teach what you know, build that machine. But if your goal is to grow a law firm, well, I can tell you from personal experience that you need to stop muddying the message. You need to get loud about your legal expertise. That needs to be your focus. You need to be known as the person for your specific area. Be the guy who geeks out about legal precedent in your area of practice, or the woman who knows every trick in a deposition. You want to be the one who's always 5 steps ahead in a mediation, because when people know you as the go-to person for your practice area, well, they'll send you clients. But when they know you as the guy with the great podcast about productivity or marketing, well, then they'll send you questions about productivity and marketing. They won't send you business for your law firm. One of the guys that I admired most back in the day was a tech wizard. He had all the toys, all the hacks, and he told incredible stories about how he used the technology to help his clients. He truly believed it made him a better lawyer, and I don't disagree. But here's the thing. People didn't remember him for his litigation skills, which were in fact awesome. They remembered him for his scanners and his shortcuts. He was the tech guy. And while that brought him admiration, it didn't necessarily bring him cases. You can be remarkable at a lot of things, but the world only gives you one label. You must choose wisely. If you want to grow your practice, then don't get distracted by shiny side identities. Be ruthless about your positioning. Don't ask people to remember you as a jack of all trades. They won't. They'll just forget you entirely. Be the best at one thing. Say it again and again. Say it so often that they repeat it back to you before you even open your mouth. So today, here's your move. Audit your public presence. Look at your website, your social media, your podcast, your blog. What are you really telling the world that you do best? Does that thing match with the referrals that you want to get? Because that's the kind of clarity that leads to referrals. And referrals, they are oxygen. And that's your moment of concise advice. Wrapping up from the Vienna airport, thanks for spending a few minutes with me and Ned today. We hope you have a great weekend and an even better week next week. Keep plugging away, moving forward, and getting things done. You're on the right track. You'll get there, I promise. We're all in this together, and together we build better practices through better marketing, better management, and better technology. Until next time, I'm Lee Rosen.
Thanks for listening to Your Law Firm. Subscribe to the Friday File at roseninstitute.com and join thousands of lawyers focused on working on, instead of in their practices. You'll find safe, successful, actionable approaches for transforming your firm. Sign up for free at roseninstitute.com.